I'm glad that Governor Noem is endorsing President Trump. I've endorsed him since before he even jumped in because we need him so badly. And I know that she recognizes that as well. You know, you talk about VP and my name has been thrown out there. I'm truly not thinking about that.
And that is failed Arizona Republican gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake trying to muscle out South Dakota Republican Governor Kristi Noem as a potential running mate for Donald Trump. Noem recently held an event with Trump in South Dakota and formally endorsed him. During an interview with a reporter, Governor Noem was asked about possibly being on the 2024 ticket, and Noem replied, quote, "I'd absolutely consider running with Trump." Well, that was too much for Kari Lake, who took a not-so-subtle shot at Noem.
So frankly, anybody who's talking about a position and dreaming of a position in Trump's second administration really needs to get off their high horse and get down on the ground and start hitting the ground in the grassroots and making sure that President Trump has a second administration. And that's what I'm doing. Every day I'm out there pushing for what President Trump has planned to get us out of the mess Joe Biden has gotten us into. I'm not thinking about any other position except how do we save our republic.
Lake said her efforts to save the republic include her ongoing claims that the 2020 vote in Arizona was stolen from her and from Donald Trump. There has been no evidence to support those claims, and the courts have repeatedly rejected Lake's efforts, even fining her for malfeasance in court. Still, when it comes to being an election denier, Kari Lake is right up there with Donald Trump. And a few months ago, there were reports that Lake had been spending so much time at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida that Lake had practically moved in as part of her effort to become Trump's 2024 running mate. Well, now, Kari Lake's vice presidential efforts include cutting down potential rivals who may be interested in the gig, and Lake is also making it clear that nobody will slobber over Donald Trump as much as she will.
I think he's going to win in a landslide. Doesn't matter who his VP is. He is such an incredible, strong candidate and president. We saw that what he did in 4 years, and America can't wait to get him back in office. I believe it will be a landslide victory, and President Trump will go on to do great things. He's not just the greatest president we've ever had. I think he'll go down as one of the greatest leaders in human history.
Ah, yes, one of the greatest leaders in human history, because right up there with Winston Churchill, Mahatma Gandhi, and Abraham Lincoln is Donald Trump. There is drooling, and then there's Kari Lake, and she is beyond disgusting and over the top. Good grief. Earlier this summer, there were some reports that Trump and his inner circle had soured on Kari Lake because of her obvious lobbying efforts for the VP slot and because of her nonstop media appearances. Well, Lake, a former Arizona television host, is not toning down the media profile very much, and the only change in her vice presidential efforts seem to be that she is not doing the lobbying as directly. Still, Lake's interest in the job is as strong as ever, as evidenced by her jealousy of anybody else being talked about as a potential vice presidential candidate. It is safe to assume that the Lake versus Noem battle is going to intensify and turn into one of the nastiest backstabbing political fights in recent political memory. And the person who will probably enjoy the clash between the two women fighting over him the most will be Donald Trump. All of these people, Trump, his sycophants, and his followers, are deranged. By the way, Fox White House correspondent Peter Doocy recently destroyed, by accident, a Fox News talking point about President Biden.
He has been basically working all through the night, at the equivalent of an all-nighter Eastern time. So he's probably pretty tired, pretty jet lagged.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.